Hello and welcome to our very first video of 2021. My name is Jack Revis and I'm one of the directors here at Revis & Co, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the support that is available to businesses in England. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme. So this scheme is currently ending at the end of April 2021. It pays up to 8% of employees' usual wages, which is capped at £2,500. So the usual wage is calculated depending on when the employee started with you. So there could be different calculations for different employees, but I'm going to put more details in the description below, so go check that out. There's no NI or pensions contributions that you can claim on this. It is just for the wages. So it was due to be reviewed in January 2021 to see if the government were going to lower the percentage that you could claim, but now we are in a national lockdown. I'm assuming that they probably will not lower that anymore and they will just keep it at the 80%, and I'm also assuming that they may be looking at extending this scheme now further than April 2021, but I'm assuming we will find out in the next few weeks. So the next scheme that I'm going to quickly touch on is the Self-Employed Income Support Scheme. With this scheme, you are able to get a grant of up to 80% of 3 months trading profits, which is capped at £7,500. You're currently able to claim for the third grant on this scheme, which is open up to the end of January, so it covers period November, December and January. So with this though, you do have to apply by the 29th of January, otherwise you will miss out on this grant. If you weren't eligible for the first two grants, then unfortunately you won't be eligible for these grants. But if you were eligible for the first two grants, then it's definitely worth looking into to see if you are still eligible for this third grant. With it though, you do have to declare that you have been impacted by the coronavirus, and there's a few other things as well. But again, I will put extra links down below so it will give you all the details that you need to know. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the deferred VAT payments from the 20th of March 2020 until the 30th of June 2020. As most of you will know, if you had a VAT payment due between those two dates, it was automatically deferred until March 2021, which meant you didn't have to pay it then. So HMRC have now introduced, however, a new payment scheme for that VAT payment. So you now have two options for the payment. You can pay it full by the 31st of March, or you can opt into their new payment scheme, which isn't live yet, which will give you the option to make up to 11 smaller payments as long as it's still paid by March 2022. So it doesn't have to be 11 payments, you can spread it over 2 payments, but it's a maximum of 11 extra payments. There's still going to be no interest on this, so it would be a great option for cash flow, especially if your business is currently closed. I'm now going to go through the 4 other main grants that you may be able to claim on. The first one is the grant due to the national lockdown for closed businesses. So this is a grant that is for businesses in the retail, hospitality and leisure sector that have been required to close due to the national lockdown restrictions. As of the 5th of January, businesses who pay business rates may be eligible for a grant of up to £9,000. So this grant is based on your rateable value of your business premises. So if your rateable value is £15,000 and under, then you could get a grant for £4,000. If your rateable value is £15,000 up to £51,000, then you could get a grant of up to £6,000. And if your rateable value is over £51,000, then you could get a grant of up to £9,000. There is obviously a lot of businesses that have had to close who may not have business premises that have been affected, and there is potentially funds available for you elsewhere, because a £594 million discretionary fund has also been made available to support those other impacted businesses. Also with this grant, during the national lockdown, it supersedes the local restrictions for closed businesses, which I'll go on to in a little bit. The next grant that I'm going to talk about is the local restrictions for open businesses. This is for businesses that have not been forced to close by local restrictions and you're in areas subject to tier 2, 3 or 4 restrictions. Obviously we are currently in a national lockdown, so you will not be able to claim under this grant, but if you were subject to those restrictions before the national lockdown, then you will be able to claim for that period. So to be eligible for this, then you have to have been impacted by the coronavirus since August 2020, And in theory, as the tier system is reviewed every 14 days, then you can claim on this grant every 14 days. Like most of the other grants, it is based on your rateable value. So if you have a rateable value of £15,000 and under, you could get £467. If you have a rateable value between £15,000 and £51,000, then you'll be able to get £700. And if you have a rateable value over £51,000, then you could get £1,050. And again, that is every 14 days. And you have to make sure that you do that claim as much as you can. So the next grant we're going to talk about is the local restrictions for closed businesses. This one's very similar to the open businesses one, except it's for closed businesses. So this is for businesses that have been forced to close by local restrictions in areas subject to tier 2, 3 or 4 restrictions. Just like the open one, it is for businesses that have been impacted by the coronavirus since August 2020. And again, if the tier system is reviewed every 14 days, this grant is also available every 14 days. And just like the open one, it is based on your rateable value. So if you have a rateable value of £15,000 and under, you can get £667. If you have a rateable value between £15,000 and £51,000, you'll be able to get £1,000. And if you have a rateable value of over £51,000, you could get £1,500. And again, that is every 14 days, so make sure that you claim it when you can. The last grant that I'm going to talk about is the Additional Restrictions Grant. So this grant is for businesses that are not eligible for other grants, businesses that do not pay business rates, but also businesses that have been forced to close due to local restrictions. This grant is available from your local authority, and they will be able to determine whether or not you are eligible for this grant and how much of the grant you will receive. So it's completely down to them, so you have to go onto their local website and apply to them direct. So that is the majority of this support that is available from government for businesses. So hopefully that has helped you out, that little video there. And if you do have any questions, then please do let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to go follow us on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, because we are posting all the time about everything that is changing. And make sure to like the video and subscribe.